77 miles east from San Jose, the capital of Costa Rica, right off the coast of the Atlantic, there's a small village called Batan. It's in that small village where my parents were born and raised. It's also in that same village where my father learned that he hated school. And so he dropped out and ended up working at a banana packing facility where a lot of my relatives still work to this day. It's also in that same village where my mother took a year off from school so she could send her 2 siblings instead, because her family couldn't afford to send all 3 that year. And even though they were neighbors in this small town, my parents actually ended up meeting in a small town in North Carolina called Lincolnton. And it's in that town where they got married, and they understood that having an education in the United States meant a door to a plethora of opportunities. And so they went on to get their GEDs together, and my dad ended up becoming a tradesman in what's left of North Carolina's textile factories. And my mother continued to take courses to become a certified nursing assistant, taking care of our town's most elderly. And then I happened. Now, I'm an only child, and there are a lot of stereotypes about only children, and one of them is really true to me. At a very young age, I learned a sense of independence. And I was very content playing on my own and being on my own. And one of the perks of playing by yourself as an only child is that you get to focus on eavesdropping on adult conversations around you. And I often heard the same one. My mom would be talking to someone, and she would never waste an opportunity to say how lucky she was to have a daughter that loved school, and how lucky she was that she never had to force school on me, and that even though late at night she would have to barge into my room and rip a book from my hands just so I could get some sleep, that she was so happy that I enjoyed reading as much as I did. And all of this is true. At a very young age, I just learned that I loved reading and I loved going to school. And in fact, some of my earliest memories are from school. My elementary school librarian, Miss Jones, would always forgive me for running up at the 11th hour with my stack of books, because even though I knew I could check them out again, I would just keep rereading them. And as I was walking, I would just keep rereading them until she just ripped them from my hands. And it's also in elementary school where I was deemed academically gifted. And what this means is that in certain subjects, I excelled. And so they put me in this classroom with other students that also excelled academically. And we learned the curriculum at a faster pace, and we read more difficult books. And it's also in this classroom setting in my elementary school, I was in 4th grade, when I started to feel this pressure. And it's a pressure that a lot of first-generation students feel. It's this pressure to succeed because of the sacrifices that your parents made for you. And a lot of first-generation students know this feeling well, because this education, my success, wasn't just about me, it was for my parents and for my grandparents back in Costa Rica. And it was for our community. And of course, in 4th grade, I didn't know how to articulate this pressure that I was feeling. So I made school a sport. And I wanted to be the best at everything. I wanted to learn the most and read the most books and be the teacher's pet. And for the longest time, I succeeded in that. And really, it wasn't until high school when I started feeling like I was failing, like I was falling behind. And all my friends knew what college they wanted to go to and what they wanted to study, and I had no clue what to do. But the truth is, I was really lucky to have a support system around me. that educated me all through high school. And in high school, my guidance counselor, Sheila Beaker, who forced me to apply to every scholarship that was available to me and to every school, because she knew that even though I was tired, that I deserved these opportunities. And my two teachers, Miss Smith and Dr. Clark, who introduced me to my love of public service and who would hold me up when I really just wanted to crumble under this pressure. And for Miss Goodson, who taught me everything I know about public speaking and who really told me the truth about teacher salaries in North Carolina. That was not supposed to be a joke. And the truth is, my teachers weren't just educators. Really, they were my mentors. They were my family. They were the people that I ran to hold me when I was ready to crumble, and they're the people that I ran away from because they were wanting to hold me accountable. And that's what all K through 12 teachers are. They see right through your excuses, and they see into your future, and they saw into mine. And I wouldn't be where I am today because of these educators, truly. And when I was growing up before my grandfather passed away, he would ask me every single day after school, "What did you learn today that you didn't know this morning?" And one day I walked up to him and I said, "Well, I don't know. I don't feel like answering this question today." And he said, "I don't know. That's a wasted day." It's because of these educators throughout my K through 12 education that I continue to strive to learn more every single day. And so I leave you today asking you what you learned today that you didn't know this morning. Thank you, Dean Daniel.